as I paint more, I start to see color better. Is that the case would that be the case with you guys? The more you paint, the more you start to see colors a little bit better. Things seem to work out like, okay, I didn't see this before. So as my eye get better, I just constantly restate things. And as I'm restating more, it seems to start to pull itself together more. So I just keep restating and keep going back over those areas until I get a feeling of those areas. Are they starting to look the way that I want them to look? So I'll go darker where I need to go darker, and then lighter where I need to go lighter. So I just took that necklace out again, which is telling me that I probably shouldn't have even put it in there from the start, because I wasn't really ready to do that. I jumped the gun. So that's something that you probably don't want to do, I guess. But I'm not perfect with it. I keep pushing it along until I feel comfortable with it. Check that out, that ankle there, and space. I want to also go into his, into her, my mind is, when you're thinking sometimes you say the wrong things. I want to go into her, outfit just a little bit. Sort of work that in there. So I love that dark blue. Let's touch it and see how it looks. Maybe I can go a little bit lighter. Let's add something in it. Let's see. let's see here. If I go just a little bit too beyond, I don't know if you guys do it, but do you go just a little bit beyond the line? You know, Sergeant went he overstated edges just to go back into the edge, pushed it out and pushed it in, and I think that's a beautiful way to. So before this dry up, I'm gonna add some more and kind of go back and forth into those just a little bit. It'll help to create a softer edge. So what I'm talking about is I'll go like so, and then I'll take the brush that I was using, and I'll try to shape that edge the way that I want that edge to be, without it being too defined. Not at this point, you know. I don't want it to be too defined. I probably went over there to where you guys couldn't see it. My bad on that, but you could see where I sort of, and then I'm just knocking it down so you guys could see it a little bit. I gotta be careful because I did use a little bit of medium in that area. This particular paint that I'm using, this Ultra Marine Blue, was given to me by my students at the end of the semester, last semester. I had never purchased any, you know, they look good. And man, you talking about a serious quality of pigment in it. It's an incredible paint that they have over there. I have to be honest with you on that. It has a nice flow to it. So I still put this on fairly thin until I get a better feel for it. I don't have this shoulder on there, so I'm going to create this shoulder because I kind of like that. There's a diagonal that way, but there's a slight diagonal that way, as if she had her arms on a chair. You know, like a chair with arms on it. You know, that's what it appears to be. So I'm gonna see if I can get that angle. Yes, I am gonna take that down. I should have taken it down before then. This particular vignette, I should have done it before, you know, but oh well, I kind of waited a little bit too long. I wanted to put it in, but a part of me said, no, wait, let's explore and see if that's what you want to do it. If you want to put the words in, think about not putting the words in, you know, and just making it more of a classical type portrait, sort of. Let's put some more paint down. Get that dry paint off the canvas. Put some good fresh paint out, you know. A lot of people say, oh, I don't want to waste it. Well, when I'm painting, my mentor, if I show him my work, if it has a lot of lumps of paint, big paint lumps all over, he'll say, man, you didn't change your paint out yet. He called them goobers. He called them goobers, so I try not to have all those goobers in the paint, you know. if I can help it. You know, if you get the chance, leave the goobers out. So I'm saying that because that's what make me mix. You know, so that's when I started to mix fresh paint. What I'm using for the shirt is, for her jacket is ultra marine blue, and then I'm toning ultramarine blue, cerulean blue. Sometimes a violet creeps in there, you know, wherever I see things at. And I use raw umber to tone it down just a little bit. You know, that's all that works for me. And then I'm using a little bit of medium to thin it out. I don't want it to be thick at this point. I do know that dark picks up. Man, dark, if you put your darks too thick right off, you have all these, and then you try to paint on later, and you'll have all these issues of these little peaks. Trying to avoid the peaks. Mary McLeod, Bethune is, I mean, she was such a beautiful lady that she reminded me of a family member of my family members, my dad's sister, my Aunt Teresa. And so, you know, so as I'm painting this, I'm thinking of my Aunt Teresa. It's one of my dad's older sisters. The times we, you know, we used to go over to Louisiana. I would stay the summer with my grandmother. Every summer, my cousins, a bunch of cousins, and my grandmother, and it was just, you know, so I would see my Aunt Teresa, I would see my grandmother. I want to take this all the way down because I'm not for sure what I want to do. So I'm just giving an indication, just setting up another layer too of how I want to go about doing it. At this stage, I just had a lot of different, I'm not focused so much on value or color. I just want to get something in there so I can figure out how I want to move it around. I'm not for sure yet. I don't know. But I do know if I do vignette it, I still want it to go that way. I'm thinking of the composition. That way, so I'll sign it somewhere right here. So I'm not just randomly, I am thinking of the composition as I do this. I don't want to go too far. I'm going to go back up top. But I do want that to read. That means this will be extended too. I won't just leave the background like that. I had put some charcoal to sort of give me this idea. Yes, I will document I will put the buttons down. I know you're thinking, man, you gonna put them buttons down? I'm gonna put them down. I'm just gonna indicate where I would like them to be. How about that? And one there. Then if I check the distance, that way it'll help me to also get some angles right. So if that's there and there, maybe I can go up just a little bit. That means I could check this again. I may have extended that too far. I'm gonna leave it down a little bit. I don't know that I like it. Well, let's see. Let's take it up a little bit. Let's take it up a little bit. So I add this part too. It's the same thing. I don't change what I'm doing. This part it takes on the same type of thought as any other edge or checking the distance. It takes on the same thing for me. So I've admired so many of you guys on Facebook, Instagram. It's been so nice. It's been so nice seeing so many great artists on social media. A lot of you guys I follow. I know you from Portrait Society. Just my way of softening up some of these edges until I figure out what I want to do. So I'm not fully committed to the composition yet. These head and shoulders, I like to sort of work my way. I'm taking off some of this paint, I don't want it to be super thick right now in these areas, in this area. Soften it up a little bit. That way it keeps the glare down on the darks. Not for sure with that yet. So until I get really to where I feel good about something, I like to leave it sort of a unfinished feel to it. Is that something you do? Do you all take it all the way? So I'll go back and kind of think about what's going on, checking different areas. I'm just doing this just so I get a better feel of it. This is, by the way, I don't know if I said, but it's a 22 by 28 canvas. I kind of like this size. I really got the size for the, to add the text on the bottom, but now I'm starting to just like the size period, you know, for painting head and shoulder portraits. I think that's a great size. This is not on linen, and I do, but it is primed quite a bit. So, but for portrait commissions, I only use linen, oil prime linen, sometimes gesso prime. That's, you know, that's good too. Just long as you make sure you, if you can double gesso, if you can put some more gesso on it once you get it, that's even better. I like a certain surface quality. Okay, back up into the face a little bit. I kind of got an understanding of what I want to do here. Let's leave that. Let's go back into the face and see if I could move some stuff around now. If I can make it a little bit better, let's just say that. This is how I draw too, by the way, as I'm figuring the puzzle out with this thing. See how this looks. It'll work for another part, but not for that. I need to go darker. But I am thinking about that. The shape of the lips. Checking the space from here to here. Do I have too much? Sometimes I tend to put too much. So I don't commit to the lips fully until I feel I have that space close. Restate that a little bit, bring it down just a bit more here. Because I feel like the distance in there looks good. It looks good in there. I'm not feeling bad about that particular, you don't feel like it's too off, like I'm off. This is the drawing part for me still. I'm drawing it in. Let me just take this and wheel this over here. I need a little bit more lip on this side. Take it out a little bit. Then I take that bottom part in just a bit. Draw it in as much as possible. Squinting down, got some areas that hadn't really solved this puzzle yet in here. Just kind of fuse them lips together for a minute. Constantly check this space in here. I'm more concerned about that space than I am about anything else. If you get that correct, you'll be fine. Well, let's say I'll be fine. I'm gonna avoid putting those transitional values in there right now. Just so I can get the big shapes, and once I get that, then I'll start hitting the transit, well, the form turns. So until then, I'll just sort of play around with the with those areas. There's a level of uncertainty with this, to where I don't know if I've gotten them totally how I want them yet. So I'll keep exploring. It's gonna be, I'm not using medium right now in the face, because I don't want it to thin it out yet. I'm gonna think fat over lean for the next layer. I'll start to beef it up a little bit. I have a question for you guys. How long do you all paint? How long can you stand? How long do you think? Wait a minute. I'm gonna get the question right. How long do you often paint? I always wondered about that. Sometimes I think I paint a little bit too long where my feet start hurting. You know, do you paint the way your feet start hurting? If you do, you're probably doing too much like me. You know, it's all right to take a break. down some of these. I should be going this way. I think I need to do more to the background. What do you guys think? Okay. I just got some paint on the brush. I'm concerned about the background color, but then I'm not. At this point, I just want to get a feel of, I don't know what I'm getting back there yet. So, and I'm putting it on thin. I was taught to, it's too light. The background should stay the background. So I do think like that. You know, try to keep it as the background, make the background stay the background, not overdo it. I'm still gonna vignette that back, but I think I'm gonna take it all the way up. I kind of like the idea of having it go all the way up. Since I have her sitting so high, I think it works better by having her sit high. Might take it all the way out, might not. Look, it's your painting. You do what you feel with it. Don't let anybody tell you that what you're doing is wrong. You know, you have to do what you think works best. So for me, I like going a little bit. I like having a vignette. I was first reeled in with the vignette by Mr. Everett Raymond Kinsler. And then as I started studying more, then I noticed that Philip DeLazlo did a lot of them. And man, I really love the way Philip DeLazlo. The reason why I do these, because somebody asked me for that, they just make me feel like it's a painting, you know, rather than it, you know, always going to the edges, you know. It just feels like a painting to me. I feel like I'm designing something, if that makes any sense. So I'll not just painting the four corners because I can, you know. It's just when I do personal work. When I do work like this for me, then I do what I want to do. But if I'm doing a portrait commission, no, I take it all the way. I take it all the way. And I give, you know, but I recently had a portrait commission of a young lady that I posted. She asked for the vignette, which I was really surprised. I'm like, wow, okay. She said, yeah. She saw this other portrait that I did, and she really loved the way that one was done like that. So she said, hey, I want mine done, you know, I want the vignette the same way, or not the same way, but, you know, she wanted it vignetted. So I said, well, sure, let's do it. So, I kind of went with it a bit, and just taking this background into the hair too. I'm just taking it all in there. I want to lose those edges until I really start to paint the background. Just lose those edges, you know, as much as I can. I have a color that's on my palette. Shoot, I can't really show it to you, but it's a mixture of all the colors that I had on my palette. You see those little goobers coming on there. I gotta remember, no goobers. Okay, so I'm just taking this out to the ledge here. Taking it out to the ledge. I don't know if I'm gonna go on there. Let's be careful with that first. Let's think about it. I can go back against the grain. Squinting down, I can, just taking, just softening that edge of it, just losing that hair until I get back to it. Again, going back in there, losing that edge for right now. Sometimes I'll photograph all the time. I'll photograph the painting and then I'll go back and see, okay, check the proportions. I could see proportions better, believe it or not, from once I photograph it and then I'm sitting there looking at it at night or something. I'll take a look at it and say, oh, I'm off. The proportions are off. So sometimes photographs will give you an odd angle to the head to where I probably wouldn't pose it that way. As a matter of fact, I know that I wouldn't pose it certain ways that the photograph has it. And let's take that in a little bit more. I know she's a very strong lady. So I want to make sure that I document all of her strength. She had to have been incredibly strong. Incredibly strong lady. Go back and just continue to restate. That's all I'm doing. Just restating, just trying to make the drawing better. I will start thinking of those planes just a little bit more. It's gonna come, but I gotta sneak up on it. I'm trying to sneak up on it. I won't just put it all in right now and just be all just jack proud of it. But I want to be able to see it. God, she reminds me so much of my Aunt Teresa. My Aunt Teresa was a strong lady, very strong. And what you talking about? A great aunt, great mother to her kids, great mother. God, she was great. So as I'm painting, I'm thinking of my Aunt Teresa and how special she was, to the family, I can honestly say that my dad had several just beautiful sisters. My Aunt Mary, my Aunt Rena Mae, my Aunt Melva, my Aunt Rita, Aunt Belva. God, man, the list goes on and on. But they all had this strong presence, just the way Mary McLeod Bethune looks on here. It's just a beautiful presence that you just don't that just radiates strength, and so I'm having a ball just kind of documenting some stuff here. Just moving some things around. strengthening the drawing as I go along, because there's still a lot that needs to be done. I bet you all have some strong ladies in your family that you just, you know that, wow, anytime you think about them, you're thinking, man, she was great, or. So I'll play with this, and then I'll use the planes of the head, and I'll do my best to go back and forth, just so I can figure out what's going on, so I can start to feel form. I have to feel form. So for me, once I start feeling the form, it just works so much better like that, as I start to feel form. I don't always feel it though. I would be lying to you. I can paint for days and not feel it. But once I start to feeling it, everything seems to make much more sense. But I have to feel it first. I don't know if that's making any sense to you, but it just doesn't show up right away. The colors. I am using some of the color choices from here, but I'm also using colors from my memory, from painting from life so much, and I will adjust these colors later, to fit what I think the color would have been or should have been, or let's just fuse this right now. This is. General idea of that. Let's get this figured out right here. See, we have so much light. Too much light breaks up form. That was by Mr. Kinchler said that. So I'm thinking of, okay, how can I change things later? Some things will just be changed. And but I always think about what I heard from Mr. Kinchler. Too much light breaks up form. So I know that it's better to have the direction of light. But sometimes when you have a reference that's not your reference, you tend to put a bit too much. But this is the only way that I could document her. I have to use a photograph. I have to use a reference like this. It was in black and white. It was put into color by my good friend, with me telling him the things I wanted and then move this, move that. But that's the only way that I could document it. I want some type of accuracy. I don't just want to put it in and because whenever I do these, I'm still looking for accuracy. That's just me. I just want to feel like that would have been her. So saying that I'm still thinking of my Aunt Teresa and all these other things that that really makes a painting, that'll help this painting, help it right along, help it to feel like her, I probably won't get it exact, which I'm not caring about that, but I just want to make sure that it feels like her. So some people that actually know of her, you know, would say, well, I mean, he was close, you know, it feels like her. So, checking that space. And sort of carve into the hair just a little bit more and bring it down. I gotta get ready to stop in a bit because I gotta go bake cookies for my grandbaby's birthday party. Yes, I'm multitasking, baking cookies too. This is the, you know, this is, I would call this step number two if you wanted to label it. You know, I don't too much label it. You know, but you know, so it's sort of working towards me really pushing it a little bit more. You know. Cut into that a little bit. Let's go back and think about this again. And so I like going in and out like that. Put it in, you take it out, you put it in, you take it out. Eventually you get the feel of